late John Shipton. Of course, Julian Assange's father joins us live from outside of St George's Cathedral. Hello, John. How are you?
Yeah, well, thank you. Good to see you, Paul. We've just installed that travelling sculpture of Edward Snowden, Julian Assange, and Chelsea Manning in the square. I think the square is not named after the church. It's not eponymous. It's called Sydney Square. So we've just installed it there, and to give you, a brief update of how we're going. We have a lot of expectations on Prime Minister Albanese meeting President Joseph Biden and Prime Minister Rishi Sunak next week in San Diego. So we're advocating firmly that this is an opportunity for Prime Minister Albanese to present Julian's matter and have it solved. As for support in Australia, the last poll we did ran out at 88% supporting the return of Julian to Australia. That's very strong. So I can round up with a quote from the great poet: "You don't need to be a weatherman to know which way the wind is blowing."
You don't need to be a weatherman to know which way the wind is blowing. That's true. You've gone a little bit sideways there, John, but
I don't know what happened.
You're matching the rest of the world at the moment, but thank you so much for joining us at the Speakeasy Ball for the update. I'm looking forward to getting down to seeing the sculpture. How's the response been to the?
Oh, it's very good. And just a couple of other things. I'm up in Brisbane on the 30th of April, and I'd like to take the opportunity to catch up. I'll send you some details of what's cooking. It may be of interest to you.
Absolutely wonderful. Thanks for joining us anyway, John. Please send our love and best wishes to Julian on behalf of our community, and good luck with the rest of the tour for the statue for Australia.
I was just listening to Cy Hirsch on the radio talking about his revelations, and he said this phrase, which I'm going to try and use. He said of Dan Ellsberg, "I adored him." So I think, that sort of warmth we can use with each other more often.
Absolutely.
And
absolutely.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you, John. Much love and blessings. Lurnpa, thank you for joining us at the Speakeasy Ball. You've got a message for some of the warriors, I believe.
Yeah, look, I'd just like to say hello to everybody, sending my love to everybody, my respects, my regards, my good energy, everything I can, because you're the very reason that we have hope. You're the very reason that people are going to have a chance to continue and create abundance for each other and create a future where we can stand as one. It's because of every single one of you people out there that have spoken truth, stood up, put your lives on the line, and had the courage to stand up against this tyranny and against what is not only an unlawful act and a war crime, and one of the greatest crimes against humanity in the history of humanity, but for having the courage to stand up against the rest of the people who had fallen victim to the lies and the deception. That takes a lot of courage, and it takes a lot of willpower to go against the grain and to stand up against something that has unlimited resources. But there's one thing that they don't have, what we all have, which is heart, which is compassion, which is love for not only our families, but for each other. And that's something that they didn't count for in this fight. That's something that they didn't equate, which is how deep the human spirit is, how far we will go to stand to protect our children, to protect our families and our community and each other and humanity. That's the part they didn't count on, and that's the part that how they evaluate their outcomes was never ever going to be ready for. And that's the greatest thing that we have, is we have each other, we have spirit, we have heart, we have love for humanity, and that's the very reason that we are winning and will win. And this evil, I don't even know what to call it, is not going to succeed because of all you people in this room, because of all the people around the country and around the planet that are standing up and have stood up. And I'm just honoured to call myself a brother to all of yous, and to be a part of something that is going to change the direction of humanity, because when we stand down the tyranny that has genocided us all, we're going to create the new. And when we get to create the new with such honorable people, I see hope for the future. I see hope for the children, and I see prosperity for everybody. And that's how this planet should be, and that's how humanity should be. So from the bottom of my heart, to all you warriors out there that are fighting, been fighting, continue to fight, and are joining the fight, I just want to pay my respect and say, love, man. Love to all of you. Have a good night. Enjoy your evening. And you all deserve this. Make sure you're laughing and having more fun than we are crying in the misery of what we're dealing with, because you deserve it. You really deserve it. And I wish I was there to join you, but I'm there in spirit. I'm there in heart. And we're going to get through this, and we're going to make things better for everybody. And most importantly, above all, we're going to work together to protect the children. And when we protect the children and we ensure that the children are safe, nurtured, loved, and cared for, then humanity truly, truly has hope. Love you all, eh? Have a good night.
Hi, Sacha Stone for the Speakeasy Ball. Thank you for joining us.
Very happy to be with you, Paul. Good to see your face.
And just wanted to check in and see if you have any words for the people moving forward. We're at a very interesting time in history at the moment. And I know you're never short for words, but just wanted to draw upon your leadership and your vision for the future moving forward.
Well, it's a fantastic I told you so moment for folks like me. So where we've been kind of, at the front line, staggering, cutting ourselves on the jagged rocks, and whilst having rocks thrown at the backs of our heads. I have to say it's ironic that it's a very gratifying time for me at the moment. I'm actually feeling as though I'm breathing oxygen, because all that we were warning about has come to pass, and it's a good thing. It's in a sense, it's the benediction that's coming out of the back end of the last 3 years of satanic witchery that's assailed our planet. But it's a very perilous moment in our so-called history right now, when you see the free fall of the high street, and you see the free fall of the central banking apparatus, you see the free fall of the social economy, which is happening now in Technicolor, and then all of the mad, insane posturing of the Babylonian priesthood and the Davos salamanders, as they start to play Game of Thrones, try to rejig the checkerboard now, so that on the back end of the chaos which they have orchestrated, they intend to reign supreme. Well, we know that that's not how it plays out. It's not going to happen that way. But for sure, when you take Ukraine as an example, and Russia, the enmatizing of Russia, the demonization of Russia, you see what's happening there. That's a huge dialectic that's playing out, trying to find the new bogeyman. The bogeyman is the Australian government. The Commonwealth is the bogeyman. The United Nations is the bogeyman. So the great big protectorates that were there, or so we were led to believe, to guide our culture, guide our civilization, have been the fucking problem from the get-go. As you and I know, it was all an orchestration of midnight masonry and Babylonian witchery. But we've arrived at this extraordinary point. The fact of the matter is that the lifeblood of people's vocations, people's lifestyle is about to evaporate. Money, your savings, your pensions, all of the time and motion of your blood and your bones for the entirety of your working life has gone into something called coin. And that coin has been entrusted with the parent corporation into its banking mechanisms, its banking apparatus. More fool you and me, I have to say, because anyone with an ounce of wit has long known that banks do not take care of your money, and they were never set up in order to so do. But the point is, we are seeing a run on the banks, as you alluded to before we started this interview. And it is a serious matter, because by the best accounts of all the leading pundits of Wall Street and elsewhere, we're about to see the gravest depression in the history of the modern world. Well, if that's actually being told to us by the paid forecasters, you can bet it's going to be a free fall, the likes of which we've never seen before. What does that mean? It means that the smartest thing that anyone can do right now is stop paying coin to government, stop paying taxes to government, stop paying income tax, certainly continue to pay commercial taxes, pay your business taxes. That's the marketplace. And that's always judicious and right and proper. But personal income tax is a fucking abomination. And that was always been the basis of the harvest of humanity. It's also what permitted government to self-elect its own monstrosity and bring itself into this position of arch supremacy over the human family, because of the coin that you and I were led to believe that we were required by law to pay. No, you are not required by law to pay income tax. You never were. That's statutory compliance. It's an enforced obligation, but it's all bullshit. And the moment people of the world, especially in the so-called developed world, see the confidence trick, the old tinker gypsy trick of taxes, personal income taxes, when you see that and you step back and just say, cease and desist, I am no longer complying. My time and motion is no longer going to actively participate in blood economy, in the perpetual cycle of war, disease, and poverty for the rest of the world. That's the moment of emancipation. And that's the morphogenetic upgrade that I'm anticipating coming out of the back of this Great Depression. I don't think it's going to last very long at all. I think we're on the precipice of something staggeringly powerful and beautiful.
Wonderful. Sacha Stone, thanks for joining us at the Speakeasy Ball.
Much love to you.